What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Breeze Shooters, where the show that brings you news, sports, poker, and everything in between.
We love the tweeners.
I'm your host, Lou, joined by my good friend, Chris. And we let the hands talk. Brother, you wear that in the wrong neighborhood, bro. They're going to test you.
See, that's the problem. There is no wrong neighborhood for me, Lewis. That's the difference between me and you. You guys soft. You moved to a nice suburban area, and now you're getting soft. That's why I stay true to myself. Even if I have money, I stay here because I need to feel this.
I almost believed you.
That's all it takes. You see how that's all it takes. You know me for over 20 years, and you almost believe me. Imagine a crazy motherfucker around the corner. He don't know me, so he's gonna say, "This nigga's crazier than I am." Bang. That's why there's no wrong neighborhoods.
Oh man. So what's going on, brother? Nice cup, man. I love that cup. Lulu's Crochet. Am I saying it right?
Lulu's Crochet, yes.
Lulu's Crochet. Hey man, you gotta get us a web page. I don't know if she's set up yet.
And
or
she is
somewhere where folks can
on
go.
Facebook. I'm gonna send you the stuff.
Please send the link so I could make sure to connect her.
All right,
Chris, excited today, man. I'm excited because a couple of reasons. First of all, me and you are big boys. We've been big boys for some time, and always the topic of conversation for us is always trying to eat healthier, live a better life. Eat the right foods to power us, to give us the energy. And as you know, I lost my mother several years back to diabetes and cancer. And I feel like if she had the proper knowledge, I could have probably had her for a couple of extra more years. You know, Puerto Rican diets are not the greatest diets in the world. So with that being said, today we have a special guest. His name is Chef Misha. I hope I'm saying his name right. And he is the CEO of the Healthy Warrior Project.
The Health Warrior Project. Yeah, Healthy Warrior Project, yes.
And so the Health Warrior Project aims to teach individuals the path towards an optimal health and well-being. And by using vegetable urban farms and forks as a weapon. Basically, they're saying, drop your spoons and just use forks, eat more greens, and live a healthier life. And his whole project is, pretty much showing people how to eat right and how to use food as a medicine to cure underlying diseases that our communities, face and, deal with on a daily basis. So I'm really excited to have him on to, explain a little further what his program or his project is all about, what he does. In addition to that, Chris, this guy also worked for the Washington Wizards NBA franchise. And I don't know what his role was. So I'm hoping that he could kind of expound on that and tell us exactly what he did with the Washington Wizards.
Expand, not expound, expand.
Okay. Yeah, so
no, Lou. I'm as excited as you are with this guest, but the problem is the way you came at me earlier today, I didn't appreciate it. You talk to me in a certain way that I feel like I'm beneath you, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
Chris, I would never talk to you like that. You're my brother. And
intellectually. No. Intellectually. No. We all know we're brothers and we love each other. That's fine. Intellectually, you talk to me like you know more than me. And that rubs me the wrong way.
You know what? We got a couple of minutes before Misha joins us. Chef Misha joins
us. That's why I brought it up, because I know we got a couple of minutes. I could tell time too, Lewis.
So I'm gonna lift the curtain. You guys, if you listen to the show long enough, you know the routine. All right. I'm the straight and narrow guy. Chris is the everybody's friend guy. Go have a beer with Chris. On the back end of this whole thing that we got going on here.
Be careful. Don't give away the sauce.
There's a lot of work, a lot of work, especially with my friend Christian here. I
Yes, a
got to
lot of work.
send stuff 4 or 5 times to him. So he gets mad at me because I couldn't remember the name of Misha's project, which is the Healthy Warrior Project. I had sent this to him March 17th. Today is April 3rd. March 17th, I sent him the information. I said, hey, do your homework, do this and that. And so he comes to me today. He's like, yo, what's the name of the pro? And I said something warrior. This and he goes, you got me looking up the fucking Ultimate Warrior and just getting upset with me. Mind you, I'm home. I got to set everything up because Christian's job is, I don't even say it's a job. He calls himself the talent. So his thing is I just show up, I look who I look, and I throw jokes. That's his whole role.
No. I got other stuff that that goes down, but
Like,
I don't want to get into it right now.
oh, exactly.
But the problem is that listen, Lou, I'm gonna tell you something right now. Since 2003, I decided I don't like to look at calendars or clocks. I don't want to live my life like that.
What does that have to do with a text message?
Because you're mentioning dates, and I don't go by dates. That's not what I do. March 17, April 37. No, February 15. No. I'm the type of person, you talk to me, Chris, bang, bang, bang. And that's it. It goes into the hard drive, and this is right here. It's all right here. It goes into the hard.
You got to check that hard drive. It has to get rebooted.
If that's the case, that's the case. But you cannot, what pissed me off today? Today,
a lot pissed you off. I can see.
No. But today, it's like it felt like I got caught cheating with a text message, and you pulled up the receipts. Oh, look, I just. Look, March 17th at 3:04 p.m. and it pissed me off. All you had to do was tell me, Chris, the healthy ultimate project.
We're starting up the lawnmower.
Oh, stop making fun of my impediment. That's not nice.
No, I'm not making fun of your impediment. I'm just telling you that don't freestyle. Think about what you want to say and then say it.
No, I was supposed to write some stuff down, but you got me out of my game. Look, nothing.
Chris, that's a regular day in our podcast world. Listen, hey, that's part of the charm, and that's on me. That's on me.
I received.
You know why it's on me?
Which was a great podcast, by the way. The last podcast when we had Vincent Rocco Vargas on, a great interview. After the podcast, I received some constructive criticism, and you know what?
From whom?
Yeah, is it? You want me to say the name? I'd rather not, but I'll say the name. A beautiful, beautiful sister, Anaris Nieves. That's Lou's lovely, lovely wife. So she gave me some constructive criticism, and you know what? I enjoy that because I know I'm down a path where I want to be a better human being. I want to be a better person. So when people point out certain flaws I have, I say, you know what? Let me work on these things. So I appreciate the constructive criticism.
There you go. You see that pregnant pause? It performs miracles.
And that's one of the things I'm going to be working on. Today's going to be an experiment on all sides. You understand? You try to get me out of my game today. You did because, like I said, I wanted to have at least 13 questions here.
Chris, you know what's funny? I'm gonna read everyone. You know what? I'm really gonna lift the curtain today. I'm gonna read the exchange of text messages.
Yo. And don't be posting.
Oh no, you know what? I can't because you're so lazy. You send voice messages. But you know what? I have Chef Misha here, so let's bring him in, Chris.
All right.
Hold on, let me get rid of this overlay.
Don't fuck it up. Man.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Chef Misha to the Breeze Shooters podcast. Welcome, sir. Can you hear us?
How are you? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Loud and clear, brother. Loud and clear.
Before we continue, is he saying your name correctly? Because this is something we
that was
go
going to
through
be
all
my
the
first
time.
question.
Yeah, exactly. Misha, Chef Misha. I think that's
All right,
what you
all
said,
right,
right? Perfect.
Yes, Chef Misha.
Nailed it.
Good. I apologize because sometimes he does make a lot of mistakes, and I'm here to correct them. So I just want to make sure.
That's a team right there. That's a team.
So Misha, Chef Misha, you see where the comedy's coming from. It's up on the right hand corner. So just a quick background on us. We're a comedy based podcast show. Our following is a lot of Brooklynites, particularly brown and black folks. And so when I saw your project, I thought it was so important to like really get you on and educate our folks on proper eating and stuff like that. So I can't thank you enough for coming on because I think it's so important for our folks to be educated on, introducing the right foods into their bodies. So with that being said, like with everyone that we have on the show, why don't you tell us where you're from and how you got started, and then we'll just go into it.
Thank you. Well, thanks for having me, first of all. So you guys are in Brooklyn right now. Both of you are in Brooklyn?
Well,
no?
We're all Brooklynites. We migrated. Chris is still in Brooklyn, though.
I'm in Dumbo. I'm in Brooklyn. So we'll maybe we'll come over and make dinner one of these days.
Oh, nice.
Maybe a little dinner party. But yeah, so my story, well, my great grandparents came over from Warsaw and old Soviet Union in about 1904, 1908 to Ellis Island at 100 Water Street. I live on Plymouth Street, which is a block over in Brooklyn. So it's kind of full circle. I came back about 6 years ago to New York, but I grew up in Western Mass, the Berkshires. Was born in California. My father's a functional medicine doctor. My mother was a nurse, so I always grew up understanding how food is medicine, how you kind of can eat your way out of a unhealthy lifestyle, how eating what we eat directly impacts our mood, directly impacts our mental health, directly impacts our behavior to our people around us, with the people around us. And I actually dated a girl in college who was a chubby chaser. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this term.
Yes.
But this girl, beautiful young woman, wanted me to gain 135 pounds in like a 8-month span. So
wow.
Yeah, she would, the trick was, it was Florida, so it was pretty cheap, right? You can go 3 meals a day out to eat, not a big deal. But she would get an appetizer and a lunch and a entree and a dessert, and we just nibble, right? And I'm a nice Jewish boy. I'm not gonna, pay for it and just like throw it away. And you know what happens at restaurants? Food waste is one of the worst things in terms of climate change, right? There's 4 billion tons of food waste in America. Don't waste food, right? So I'd eat her food. And then there was one 3-week period where she told all my roommates at night that if she'd make these Cinnabons, she'd go to Save-A-Lot, right? And she would get these $1 Cinnabon rolls, right? So you make 4 Cinnabons for $1. So every night for 3 weeks, she would just tell my roommates, hey, 11:30, let's say we all want Cinnabons. It was their idea. They'd all make it. They'd all go to bed. 4 hot Cinnabons lying here. No one's eating them. I eat them all. I gained 30 pounds in 4 weeks. So I'm 325. And I'm like, this is, I mean, it got to the point where she wouldn't sleep with me until I would have powdered donuts. Like I'd have to go to 7-Eleven or go to the dollar store and eat powdered donuts before she'd sleep with me.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah. This is a real.
Misha, was she skinny?
She was a bombshell, nice little Asian number from Long Island. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But she did this to somebody before me. What's that?
That's some crazy stuff that she really, like you said, she's a chubby chaser, and the powdered donut thing. Don't get me wrong, Misha. I've done the powdered donut thing. It's very sexual. I like it very much.
Misha, you don't understand. You have a lot in common with Chris. His current girlfriend is a chubby chaser.
Yeah, so we'll talk. We'll put you on some supplements and some vitamins. We'll make sure your levels are good. But.
Thank you, because you don't know how I was looking when Lou told me he got you. I said,
well, I got you. Hey.
I need him.
Brooklyn, stand up. Brooklyn, stand up.
Yes, sir. So sorry. Continue.
No. So I'm I hit on a scale. I'm 306, and I was 208 the summer before. So this is like 7 months later. I'm 306, and I'm like, there's got to be another way. But I always was hooping, so I always like played basketball. I always felt active. I never felt like I was. I'll send you guys a picture afterwards of me at 270. There's no photos of me for like 50 pounds from 320 to 270 because I just wouldn't be in pictures. You know, when you just don't love yourself. So I struggled from body dysmorphia, right? So I grew up a little chubby as a kid and just, you know, a lot of issues there. So when I was dating this girl, it was the first time I was able to like embrace my you know, chubby side, and I wasn't shamed, right? My father's a doctor. I eat like mac and cheese or at a restaurant. Yeah, you sure you're gonna eat that? You're gonna get fat. You grab my stomach or all that bullshit. sorry. So it was like the first time I felt like safe. You know, I felt satisfied. You know, being me, and having a scale like 2 weeks later, and I think I'm eating well. I think I'm being healthy. I'm 321. I'm 322, and I'm like, I gotta leave her, and I gotta leave like lose this weight. So what happened was I just ate a salad one day, like grilled chicken and salad at some restaurant, and she goes, "If you lose any weight, we're breaking up."
Wow. Talk about pressure.
Talk about talk about codependency, talk about mental illness. It's a whole other ballgame. Well, my balls, I got anxious. My bad. So, long story short, I'm graduating college. I get a job with the Washington Wizards with the NBA, like an intern in basketball operations under Ernie Grunfeld. I was like helping video coordinating and dealing with that players. And I was watching like John Wall and all these athletes like Trevor Ariza, like sorry guys, getting like French toast and hot coffee, hot chocolate before basketball games from McDonald's. And hot chocolate from McDonald's is 1,200 grams of sugar or some crazy number, 1,200 crazy number of calories. He had 2 of those before games.
Wow.
So I, you know, and also I was living in DC, so I, you know, there was, you know, it's kind of expensive there. I didn't have a lot of money, so I was kind of only eating like 1 meal a day. So I started intermittent fasting before people were doing that. And then I started doing keto, and then like bone broth. But I really would get a big bowl of Vietnamese pho and just get no noodles. Like I was, you know, kind of broke. It was $12 for a big bowl of Vietnamese pho in DC, right off the arena in Verizon Center. And I would just like get extra meat, extra veggies, no noodles. And I ended up losing like 70 pounds. And then going like keto, lost like another 50 pounds. And about a year, about like 9 months, lost 120 pounds. So went from like 208 to 325, and then like maybe a year later went to 198. So now I'm 210.
Was you miserable during this time period though?
No. So I'll show you. Well, you're in Florida. Where are you, Lou?
No, I'm in Jersey.
Oh, you're in Jersey. Oh, you said we'll do a dinner party.
Yeah.
I live in Livingston.
Okay.
You gotta have my cousin on. My cousin's got a sports radio show at Syracuse. He's I think a sophomore, so you gotta have him on or something. But so I had a sports radio show also in college. That was my real big thing, is like sports and performance and loving the game. So that got me into working with athletes, you know, obviously. But then once I left the Wizards, went to Lost the Way, I started working with this kind of human development coach, life coaching company. Ended up being a cult, so we'll talk about that another day. But,
we have to have a part 2. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we need to dive into.
We'll do a part 2. We'll do a part 2. But that's just like, we don't know how long we have, but that's another 2-hour conversation. So as I'm working with all these people, right? Everyone who has mental health issues, everyone that wants to see a coach, everyone that really is struggling, you know, with his energy levels, whether it's emotional levels, whether it's a behavior, mood, codependency, substance, you know, most of it. And if we just like think about this realistically, most of it comes down to, again, what we put in our bodies. What information we put in our bodies, what food we put in our bodies, the people we hang around, the energy that we put in our bodies. So most of these clients that I'd have is I would start with just basically their nutrition, their diet. That's something I knew and grew up with. So I was like, just eat real, whole, basic food, which is like nothing processed, nothing with, you know, alternative processed sugars. The rule of thumb is if anything you get in a bag or a package, make sure it's got like less than 5 ingredients. Like right now I'm drinking a box something, coconut water, right? The ingredients are just one ingredient, 100% organic coconut water. Like, I had a burrito earlier, but I'm a recovering food addict. Give me a break. But but it's you don't want to like go crazy. You just want to like make sure 90-10, right? It's a recreational drug. If you use a burger like you line of cocaine, you're not gonna do coke every day, but like maybe if you go to Colombia one day and you go to Medellin, you're going to try that one, whatever. Maybe not promoting cocaine, but I'm just saying, don't eat like junk food 24/7. You're going to feel like junk. Don't do drugs 24/7. You're going to die, right?
Exactly.
So when I'm working with these clients, I'm really understanding that if you change their diet, their relationships got a little better. They got less irritable. Things kind of calmed down. Their brain seemed to slow down a little bit. So I literally just like started just giving people food advice, nutrition advice, and I was chefing for a client in Westchester. And I was like, fuck this. I could just cook for people and chef for people in New York City. So I came to New York, moved to New York, and kind of started my business, the Health Warrior Project, which the basis was to teach people to cook, real whole food, on a budget for a family of 5 for $25 in under 25 minutes.
I'm sorry, Chef Misha. I just want to jump in real quick because there's a lot of good stuff here, and I just want to make sure we don't gloss over it. So before we leave the Wizards, the Washington Wizards, so your role there was you were intern. I'm sorry, I missed.
I was an intern in basketball operations, and I was like most interns there for like a season. I was there for like a little over 18 months. So I, was doing video coordinating stuff. I was, helping. Whatever anybody needed me to do. But also I was like in charge of bringing in the meals. So I was watching what the players would eat. I would sometimes eat what the players would eat, leftovers. So that was my, on a budget, that was great. But I was watching the entire friends and family like lounge after games. It's all junk food. And like the thing was the healthiest meal was like the Chinese day, and it was all noodles and fried dumplings and egg rolls. I mean, we all love that shit, but if you're trying to win a championship, or it was the first time they were in the playoffs in how many years since Gilbert Arenas, just why you got to be not thinking about performance at a level like that. That's kind of how I was thinking. So sorry.
But I'm surprised though at that level. And the amount of money that they invest in these players, they're not a bunch of nutritionists just walking around.
Now there's more, but when I was there in 2013, I think it was only the 76ers at that time when they were like the process Sixers. They would was not Sam. Who was their GM? Not Sam Hinkie.
I know you're talking about the guy that rebuilt everything.
He basically had someone come in and like label food like green, red, and blue, so like players would know, don't eat this, eat that. You can eat that before games, but that was still kind of antiquated, not advanced science. Now you're seeing players like LeBron spends $1 million a year on a nutritionist and trainer, right? Wow. So these are and that's if you look at it, I think by that investment, 18 years, plays maybe $20 million max, maybe $15 million max, makes almost $1 billion in contracts. It's a great investment.
Absolutely. So, all right. So you leave the Washington Wizards, you come up to New York. Well, you do a lot of side gigs, but you realize that you created a lane for yourself, and now you come to New York and you're trying to maximize on it. Now, is that when you started the Healthy Warrior Project, or were there some like side hustles before that?
So the Health Warrior Project was after I left that life coaching cult company that we'll have another episode on. But basically I quit my job, and I had like some savings, and I went away for a week, and then my dog got like crazy sick. Like I don't know what happened, just like put him on bad meds. The vet like with some malpractice, like $16,000 of vet bills, and it was like there's only like you like don't want to. I'm just not someone that would like fights people. I just like hate authority, and like people at the cash register, I'll just say yes and get out of there. So I was like, fuck it, just pay Amex and I'll run. And that was like the day I was building my business. So it was kind of built my business like almost a gun to my head, where I was in New York City, didn't really have a huge network of clients, but I believed in the vision. So I had one client. What I would do is I would host these dinner parties, and I would bring all my people together, these friends, people I would meet in my network who wouldn't really know each other, like a doctor or a pharmacist, a therapist, a psychologist, a farmer, a musician, a producer, artist, whatever. And they'd all come together, and I'd have them all eat this 14-course farm to table meal, and they'd be, till 2 a.m. just hanging out, talking. And then they'd be like, why are we not tired? And a lot of them are using the restroom because this fibrous food is going right through you. And I'm like, yeah, I just tricked the 35 adults to eat all their vegetables for the evening. So that was kind of a way I was able to supplement my income and have, a few higher end dinner parties. And then what happened was I started working with these urban farms. Do you guys know what urban farms are for the audience?
No, please, if you
No, no.
could break it down, what are urban
Yeah,
farmers?
so that kind of is what differentiated me from a lot of chefs in New York. That anybody can take their farm to table, anybody can say they're more or less a healthy chef. But what do you do? So one of my skills are I'm a ketogenic. I specialize in ketogenic meals, which is basically high fat, no sugar. Most ketogenics heavy dairy. I don't really use dairy. I use maybe get grass fed butter or ghee, which is clarified butter. Mostly like nuts and seeds oils and coconut oils. And then
Chef Misha, are you eliminating meat altogether, or
no.
No,
So
not.
if we do, we want kind of grass fed, sustainable, grass finished as you can. If you go to the grocery store, it's maybe $2, $3 more expensive. If you go to Whole Foods, it's going to be super expensive. But you have Key Foods, you have all these little local markets that have actually like. Oh, sorry, someone's calling me.
okay?
Okay, my bad. Can you guys see me? Am I still on?
Yeah, you're still on.
Sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, so I differentiate myself by using these just real whole food, and then going keto and having real good quality meats, good quality fish, free range chicken. But then I would have these urban farms like Farm One, Arrow Farms, which is in Newark, New Jersey. Lou, you should check out. They just had a $1.3 billion IPO, and one of my dear friends would like give me these like a drug deal, like these big bags of like R&D vegetables, and give them to parties, and I just give all these amazing stuff that was grown indoors like a couple hours ago that she brings on a garbage bag on a subway, to an event. And now if you go to Whole Foods, you'll see like Dream Greens or Arrow Farms Dream Greens. You'll see them kind of every Whole Foods. That's her kind of brand. So it's an urban farms basically are indoor farms. So imagine you're in these urban cities or these urban areas where there's not that much agricultural space to grow a lot of stuff. So in one container, shipping container, you can grow 1,000 acres of produce vertically, right?
Wow.
1,000 acres, right? And you need like X amount of like hundreds and hundreds of gallons of water, thousands of gallons of water to, tens of thousands of gallons of water to feed that, kind of that land. Like about 1 gallon of water per week to feed an urban farm, right? This is a couple years ago. So the science, because it basically turns to steam, to dust. Okay, sorry, my business partner just emailed me. But yeah, so long story short, I would have these relationships with these farms, and I bring these farmers to dinner with these investors and with these doctors, and we get all these people excited about urban farming and excited about eating real whole food that you grow yourself. And the premise is to kind of like cut that supply chain, right? So you want to have the closest relationship to your farmer or to your food, right? So if you can, something called a tower garden, everyone should Google right now. It's basically one little device you can kind of hang up, put in your room, put in your living room, and it can grow 100 cucumbers in a season. It can grow 100 tomatoes, right? Just in a lot, literally this big, right? It just branches out.
And Misha, let's slow this down for a second, because this is really important stuff. So what is needed to do something like that, to grow a tower in your house? Like, first of all, will the cops come and raid you? Will they think like it's a crystal meth lab or something like that?
Well, welcome to New York. Welcome to New York and New Jersey. I think now, I think you can walk around with 3 pounds of medicinal cannabis or non-medicinal.
But seriously, what's needed to do something like that?
So, if you have any, let's say you're in a city, you don't have any space, any grass space you can create. Literally, you need a space this big, $50. Go to towergardens.com, Juice Plus. Buy them right now, and I think every month they give you new seeds, and they're $50. Nothing, really nothing. You can get a little pot. I have friends that just have regular farming, regular potted plants, and grow tomatoes and herbs in their in their light by their window, and tomatoes and peppers.
So it has to be by the window so it can get sunlight.
Yeah,
you don't have to. You can get an LED light. You can get some little fixture. That might be a little more expensive. From like $50 maybe to like $150, where you can buy just LED. So you can buy actually plants only take red and blue UV lights. You can buy like these purple special UV lights that'll actually help the plant grow much faster, more nutritious, have the plant grow smarter. So.
And are there any differences from growing something in your house versus going to an actual farm?
So within like 24 hours of picking a romaine lettuce. So if you ever been to a farm before and picked romaine lettuce, there's like little white, like kind of juicy particles when you break off the stalk.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the nutrients and the live microbes that are, give you all the nutrients. Within 1 day, those are all essentially dead, right? So romaine lettuce, essentially, right away, once you pick it, is one of the healthy things you can have. It's like 98% all your recommended daily intake vitamins, like super fresh from the garden. Once the next day, it's like almost 2% of all the nutrients are still there. So let me just give you guys another quiz. So a regular apple, not organic, regular apple, how long do you think it takes from being picked to being eaten from the grocery store, or being picked to being bought and eaten at the grocery store? What's the life cycle? How long?
I'll say a month, month and a half.
I'll probably say about 6 months.
Yeah, so it's like 11 to 14 months is actually the timeline.
Wow.
What they do is they put them in these live. If you have any friends that work in food and produce, they put your fruit and a lot of your produce in these freeze dry rooms, and they kind of freeze all the nitrogen, hydrogen out of the plant, and it actually just turns into a ball of sucralose, like sugar. So all the nutrient density is almost gone, and you have to sometimes get these like plastic film on these apples. You feel like there's a
like a wax, like a wax. You can actually scrape it off sometimes. The scrape off is like a wax.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all a byproduct of that whole model. Yeah.
Oh wow! That's very interesting what you just said right there, because a lot of folks, they think because they're going to the fruit store that they're getting stuff that's actually good for them. But essentially what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, what you're saying is that a lot of the produce that we get are not actually good for us because they've been sitting for so long and they turn into sugar. Is that it's safe to say?
Yeah. So it's basically let me go looking up that stat. Yeah. So basically there you are. So if you don't eat if you eat an apple like from an orchard versus an apple at the store, it's like the apple's more tart, more depth of flavor, and the apple at the store just tastes like kind of almost apple juice, like just
very sweet.
Yeah, very sweet. And the second you bite it, if you notice, it actually turns like brown right away. And
almost
apple orchard, go to an apple orchard, somewhere upstate. I bet there's about some in New Jersey, but there's definitely some in Westchester. I could take you guys and just like eat a bunch of apples and leave them all out, and they'll be white for hours because they're just the nutrients are just totally leaving the apple there, and that's what happens with most of our produce, in grocery stores.
Wow. So that's really eye opening. So transitioning.
But to say that though, still eating produce at the grocery store is more healthy than eating your, French fries, mac and cheese, fried foods, processed sugars, processed, Diet Coke. So it's going to have maybe like 1/15, 1/10 of the nutrient density of having at a farm. And actually at an urban farm, the studies are between like 22 and 48% more nutrient dense than urban farms or than regular farms. Because when you grow in an urban farm, you grow the vegetable in like the precise exact environment it needs to grow. And it grows full time. The sun, the lights, they're full time, or depending on the growth cycle. So it actually grows smarter and more efficient. So it actually becomes more nutrient dense and has more or less 2 brains or 2 hearts. Okay. So not saying don't eat your vegetables and produce, but know that if you can eat organic or eat, a farmer's market is always the kind of the best choice, I would say, to do.
It's more, it's pure. You're gonna get a much. There's another. You invest in these farms that are trying to make it. That are trying. They're giving you the good product. That So I understand what you're saying. So quick question. I'm sorry, I'm going a little bit off.
Very good.
So you lost all your weight on keto.
More or less going plant. I call it plant-rich keto, but basically I was having almost no sugar and a lot of high fat.
Okay. I'm assuming you worked out. Did you work out hard enough, or it was just?
I play basketball a lot. I mean, I have chronic back issues, so it's that's whole other podcast. But weights for me is very rough. So I'm actually pretty strong, big guys. Never really needed to hit the weight room, and football and basketball are my sports. But basically, basketball is my only cardio, and then I do a lot of saunas, a lot of sweating and saunas. Yeah.
Okay, I'll be honest with you.
Misha, I like you more and more by the minute. That is my lifestyle. I love the
let's go to the Banya, 88 or 88 in New York. Next we'll have a podcast from the Banya.
I've tried keto. Listen, keto works. Keto works, especially for a person like me. It satiates me. It's a very I eat one time and you're good.
Yeah.
My problem has always been consistency. You see,
and pork.
I love pork, but pork is good as long as it's grass fed. Relax.
Well, if you get some heritage pork, we'll get you some good pork and have some good fat on it.
So, I know keto works. I've actually, I've studied it. I speak to Lou about it all the time. My problem is I'm not consistent. I do keto for two months. I see I drop 20, 25 pounds. Oh, I could have a beer, or and it just throws everything off, and then one thing I learned the hard way is when I drink, I binge eat at the end of the night, and what my body's craving.
So that's it. So what are you drinking? First of all, what are you drinking?
Well, now I'm sticking to whiskey. I try to stay with whiskey because it's keto friendly.
I lost that weight doing basically just bullet and bourbon. That was the drink at night. I would drink nothing else. I kind of stopped drinking mixed drinks. I'll drink IPAs once in a while, tequila, mezcal, but whiskey. I mean, that's kind of and if you think about the way, so for people like us, right, who are the binge eaters, or who if they eat a little bit, the drinking doesn't actually, for me, if I eat a little bit alcohol, I can have 10 drinks and I'll be a little buzzed, right?
Exactly.
I cannot eat. So what I would do, I mean, I'll let you finish your topic, or what you were saying, but my strategy for someone who's dealing with kind of that issue is I would actually intermittent fast and have the alcohol break your fast. And then you'll have maybe 2, 3 drinks versus 6, 7 drinks. And then you eat something that is good. You already pre-program it. This is my burger and whatever with no bun, or this is my whatever. I'm going to have this meal. So you're not going to actually eat and then go overboard. Because for me, if I eat a little bit and then drink, the sugar is going to make me crave to eat. So I'll actually go out to eat, and I'll go out to drink with my friends. And I'm I'm in New York City. I'm not going to spend all this money and not get tipsy or not feel it. So I'll not eat, and I'll break the drink. I'll break with a double. And then I'm maybe I've had 4 or 5 drinks and only had 1 drink.
And you feel exactly. And you start feeling nice. You start getting that buzz.
Yeah, you get that buzz, and you're not actually, but if I had one little appetizer, I would have burned $20 and have been whatever. Been hey, let's have a beer, a Bud Light with my friends. So with the drinking, if that's an issue with the consistency, have the drinking. So if I would actually do intermittent fasting with the keto, you guys know what intermittent fasting is?
Yeah. That's how I lost my. Like I said, it's a
Misha, what do you do? 14 or 16 hours?
Honestly, I'd probably do almost 16 to 18. Wow. I only eat between 2 and 5 every day. When I don't eat between 5, but now it's almost 3 and 6. And if I eat after 6, I'm I could feel it the next day. I feel sluggish, and I'm really not hungry until. But I anxiously eat, right? So I always lock that in, right? So if I know I'm going to be, again, I'm someone who has an eating disorder, and suffers from body dysmorphia and suffers from binge eating. So one thing to think about also is the weight loss. It's not just a physical or mental thing. It's a psychological, it's a mental and psychological battle, because for most people that struggle from addiction, let's say you have heroin addiction or cocaine addiction or coffee addiction or marijuana addiction, or alcohol addiction, even, you don't have to have that to survive. You don't have to have that 3 meals a day. All your friends aren't going to normalize that and ask you to, hey, you want to go do heroin with me and like with all my girlfriends? Hey, want to go do a bunch of lines of coke? Like, hey, want to go get a haircut and then do a line of coke? Want to join me? Like it's normalized to go eat. So a lot of us who are or a lot of individuals who suffer from eating disorders and disordered eating, it's like a full-time nonstop battle. So the intermittent fasting, A, if you're on a budget, it's like the best thing to do for being on a budget. 2, it's the best thing if you're going on dates and you want to pay for your girl's date. And you're like, hey, I'll have a tequila, but I can't fast.
In New York, the tequila is as much as the freaking T-bone steak, though.
That's why you gotta have 2 beers in the house before you go out on an empty stomach, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, we pre-game. We call that pre-gaming. We pre-game in the house.
Call that money management. No,
there you go.
But you know what, Misha, you really touched on something there, because I found it's ironic that you just brought up the example you did. Like 3 days ago, I'm going to have breakfast and something happened. There was like an interruption, and I'm thinking, I'm not even hungry, but I'm just going to eat because it's a ritual that we have to do, that at 9 o'clock, you got to get a bagel, whatever. And I'm like, I'm fine. And I ended up turning back around and I didn't pay attention. Next thing you know, it's 2 o'clock. I still didn't eat. And I felt good. And I felt like my mind was really focused. Yeah, I was like, holy shit. I said, this is amazing. But the thing is just that you're programmed to kind of like get your 3 meals a day. But if you could get yourself out of that cycle, you could really do some amazing things in terms of what you consume and how your body produces energy and all that stuff. So, it's funny that you brought that up, because I just had that, I had that situation not so long ago.
Well, what you're mentioning is, and maybe you know about this and you didn't really know that you're mentioning this, but it's a kind of a school of thought called intuitive eating. Have you guys heard of this? There's a book that comes out every year, new edition. It's like the 30th edition, intuitive eating, whatever. But it's basically just about being in tune with what your body needs and wants, right? Like today, look, I'm the health guy. Today, I was craving a cannoli, like just fucking craving a cannoli. I go to the bodega, I got my coconut water, and like no one's standing at the deli, and I'm like pissed. No one's like getting me a cannoli. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get a cannoli. And I asked the guy, give me a cannoli. It was the worst fucking cannoli I ever had in my life. It was soggy. I took a bite of it and threw it away. Like, I honored what I wanted, but like, basically, if you're anxious, don't eat because you're anxious. Know why you're eating. Know why you're trying to pick up food. Like for me, I will literally, the second I'm stressed, I'll think I'm starving. Like I'll believe that I'm starving. And I'll be like, am I hungry? I literally ate 4 hours ago. Okay, what did I eat? Okay, it was bread. Okay, that's going to cause inflammation. Okay, maybe that's going to make me hungry. Okay, let me just drink like 2 glasses of water. And if I'm still hungry, I'll walk to the bodega and I'll get something. But in the past, I would just like panic and like grab a bag of chips or grab something. And as a kid, I would eat at night. Like my family would go to sleep and I would binge eat at night and just be stress eating at night. So it's very important to like know your feelings and know how you're feeling when you're eating. And almost when you eat, and one thing to do that's actually really great for weight loss, if you're interested in that, anybody out there, is that when you eat, actually try to change your brain chemistry, right? When you're eating, don't be like, oh, I might get fat from this, or I might be sick from this. Whatever you're eating, like hopefully it's healthier food, if because you want to listen to my words. But if not, try to like say this is a celebration. Like, wow, I get to eat this eclair, or I get to eat this ice cream, and your molecules will actually change and not have this stress resistance. Will not have this spike of like adrenals, and your body can actually digest it in a way that's rest and digest versus fight or flight. So when you eat your food, almost have it be a moment of like, let's sit down, honor our food. I don't pray before I eat. I had a really funny friend who was a football coach and very, very Christian, and I studied abroad with him one summer. We prayed before every meal. And it was like you actually felt the energy of the meal and the consciousness of the food change. Like you would feel we just feel different.
Appreciative.
Yeah, exactly. So just to think about that. I don't know what I'm talking about.
So, staying there for a second. How does somebody prepare themselves? What is the right way for somebody to prepare themselves to go on a weight loss journey? Like you just brought up some good points in terms of how to kind of like approach your eating habits, but what are some other things that folks could kind of incorporate into their weight loss regimen?
I mean, I think the first thing to do is to create a food. You know, everyone says this, and I kind of get annoyed when people say this, but create a food journal or a food log, at least for a month, for 30 days, to see actually what you put in your body. And then at the end of the day, write how you feel that day, right? How you physically feel. And you will actually see what foods trigger what, unless you're in a big rush and you don't want to wait that first month to kind of figure out what foods work for you and not work for you. I would say start an elimination diet, right? Which is no gluten, no processed grains. I would stay away from rice for the most part, just for the beginning. No processed sugars. If you do any sugar stuff, just fresh fruit, berries, fresh fruit, and then just real whole food and no dairy, right? If you can, right? But grass-fed butter, ghee is fine. And the reason why they say grass-fed, if you don't know between grass-fed and grass-finished versus grass-fed or grass-finished is grass-fed its whole life until 6 months, and then it's fed grain before it's and other stuff until it's slaughtered or served. And grass-finished, its whole life is grass-finished. And the difference is factory farmed versus grass-fed. There's antibiotics, there's hormones, there's a lot of crap. There's fed oats. They're made to get heavier and fatter, so they're marbleized, shorter lifespan, more stress in the body, you name it. So much
grass finished. You want to go grass finished?
Yeah, if you go grass fed, that's fine. I mean, again, like it's eating vegetables versus not eating vegetables. But grass finished, if you can, is the way to go.
Okay.
Misha, quick question though. I look at these labels and I don't know how truthful they are. I kind of always feel like it's a scam to get an extra buck from me. Is there a brand that you look for that you kind of know their history and you could kind of trust what they're like, advertising?
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know how big your audience is, but nationally, I think they do Canada as well, but they do this company called Butcher Box. Have you guys heard of Butcher Box?
Yeah, we've heard it.
Yeah. They deliver now. You can actually go online.
They deliver. Yeah, they have fish. They have actually great stuff, and it's one of my friends, Mike. He actually runs it. He has a pretty great model, but the food it's crazy affordable. So let's say you can't really afford it in your community. A bunch of people can put $30 in. You get giant box of meat and produce or meat and fish and something you couldn't really finish on your own unless you had a big family. It's like $9 a pound for filet mignon or a little less now, I think. But basically, if you can. Yeah, I guess the question is if you can't trust the big labels, you kind of just got to use your common sense a little bit. Laundry detergent says they're gluten free, right? Like, who gives a shit if your laundry detergent's gluten free?
Exactly.
Right? Who gives a shit if your laundry detergent's vegan, right? Who gives a shit? So you can kind of, I wouldn't get too sold on packaging like this company Organic Valley. A lot of their stuff isn't organic, right? So you have to kind of know what you're looking at. Look for the USDA. There are certain logos. Like, you want stuff that's fair trade. You want stuff that local is locally sourced as possible. So if you look at the bag and it's ingredients from different parts of the world, you kind of might know. And another thing is you want to be able to pronounce everything on the ingredients list, right? If you pronounce something, then you're like, what the hell? Sometimes some things are like vitamins and whatnot, but more or less things you can't pronounce are toxic preservatives and chemicals, and you don't want that. But I think that just in terms of labeling and Butcher Box is good, but
how about Trader Joe's?
Trader Joe's is actually I'm shocked by Trader Joe's. So they have great stuff. The first time I went into Trader Joe's was like 5 years ago, and I don't know. I was in Westchester. I was going to Whole Foods all the time. And I walked in there, and everything was labeled like Cheerios, Trader Joe's, and I thought it was in Willy Wonka's factory. And I left, and I was terrified. But now I get it. They're good. They're just going to label shit. I get it now. They have all this shit in one factory. Oh, but yeah.
I thought when I walked into, I thought it sounded too good to be true. But
I have clients that are very health conscious, and they're fine with me just going to Trader Joe's and catering from there.
Okay. I guess let's transition into the power of food to heal. Um, in our communities, diabetes is a big thing. Lupus, cancer, of course. What are some recommendations that you can make for our listeners that may be battling these issues?
Yeah, I mean, I think food is one thing, right? So I think the way I see wellness, the way I see our personal health and our mental health is like a stack of cards, right? We want to stack the deck in our favor, right? The more cards we have out of the deck, the less bargaining power, the less strength we have to accomplish our goals. So one of the things to stack our deck is to one of the foundations, yes, have a really clean, for the most part, right? I'm not saying 100% eat whole real food, like you can have your ice cream once in a while, but 80% of all chronic disease and probably 90% of all mental illness are probably traced back to what we put in our body and what we eat and the food that we eat. The the second thing I would say is try to incorporate some mindfulness activity, where it's yoga, whether it's meditation, whether it's guided meditation, whether it's Tai Chi or Qigong or mindful walking with your friends or something. Because if you're not mentally prepared and your brain's not calm and ready to get on this battle, it's going to be overwhelming and stressed, and that's really important. So food, one, mindfulness practice, two, and three, yoga is really, so yoga is mindful practice, but it's also an exercise, and it gets your body moving, get your parasympathetic nervous system kind of activated, it gets your metabolism activated. So just incorporating yoga 20 minutes a day, just to begin, it's like literally nothing. And there's poses where you can just lay on the ground and just like hold your feet, called happy baby pose, and stretch your back out, where it's low intensive in beginning and you can build up to it. But then also, if you can incorporate some level of supplementation, I would suggest. So I'm really big into mushrooms lately, not psychedelic mushrooms.
Oh, come on, Misha. Come on, man. You
We're
had
messing with
me.
you. We're messing with
Well,
you.
no, I'm actually writing a book about the healing properties of mushrooms, including psychedelic mushrooms.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, your health listeners, that's more for the mental health side.
And after we fix this, everything else falls into place.
We're gonna bring it over here and then put it back. Yeah, right, exactly.
There you go.
So there's a website you guys, everyone should look up, hostdefense.com. This guy, Paul Stamets, he's an amateur mycologist. Basically, is the expert on mushrooms, probably in the world, and he has this supplement line called Host Defense, and they have like mushroom mycelium, lion's mane, oyster, chaga, and all these mushrooms are a great immunomodulator. So what that means is it kind of goes into your body and it will fix anything that's wrong in your immune system and try to modulate it to go back to baseline.
I've tried lion's mane coffee. Pretty good. I tried it one time, but it's pretty good. I actually bought it in Whole Foods. I don't remember the brand, but
or Stigmatic, maybe. Was it a brown bag?
It's Stigmatic. Yes.
Yeah, so they're good. Well, that's a whole other conversation. So they yeah. So there's if you can have tea or coffee, mushroom coffee, that's great. But you can take a supplement, right? Or you could eat your own mushrooms, go to the store, cook them for yourselves. I'll give you recipes for that. But basically, if you can have the supplement called it's Stamets 7 or immune boosting, but basically a host of like lion's mane, reishi, and it basically will just calm down your nervous system, calm down inflammation. It will help clear your brain. So that's like the first thing. If you're saying, supplements are so confusing, vitamins are so scary, I don't know where to start. That's a very easy, non-invasive, non-kind of obstructive, or not a kind of, intensive supplement to take. And then, I don't know how expensive everybody's budget is, but are you guys familiar with obviously saunas, right? Infrared saunas. So there's this. Actually, I'll have it here. So I basically have my portable infrared sauna.
Oh, wow.
I saw that. Yeah, that I saw that on Groupon. They had a great deal on that.
Yeah, it's $120.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, saunas are one of my favorite form of therapy and wellness kind of exercise. 30 minutes of sauna is about 90 minutes of cardio.
Is it really?
90 minutes of cardio, yeah. And it's good for your heart, cardiovascular health.
How hot And I'm trying to talk to you, chef. But how hot does it get? The that portable one, does it
This was like
move?
150, but
150 is pretty good. No,
yeah. I mean, I like 190, 185, but it's hot. I mean, it gets warm. I go in there for like 30 minutes, 30, 40 minutes. But it's like $120 on Amazon, right? Anybody can get that.
yeah.
You go to the Banya, it's $200 for 4 of us to go or whatever. So kind of like the same, more or less same price. But just implementing sauna or like I take Epsom salt baths for just like calming the nervous system, calming anxiety, depression for a lot of stuff. But also like your body can't heal when you're in like this crazy fight or flight response. So a lot of people who have severe chronic weight issues, they will do all the right stuff, they'll eat all the right food, they'll exercise, but they don't lose weight. They might actually gain weight because their adrenal levels, their cortisol levels are all jacked up because they're so stressed. And the added stress of losing the weight is actually creating more stress and more anxiety. So your body's not having an ecosystem where it can be healthy, right? So you want the nervous system calm, you want the inflammation gone, you want that cytokine response, and cytokines are like the things in that molecules that create all the inflammation in your system gone. So that's, saunas are my favorite kind of hack, quickest, direct route to kind of get that process.
Yeah. Wow. And Chef Misha, you had mentioned earlier that if you could, it would be great because I could share with our listeners maybe like a cheat sheet for folks trying to lose weight. Just if you could bullet point the items that need to be done, I think that would be great. I could post that along with the the podcast, and that would be really good. Going from there, I can't leave the Washington Wizards without asking you, give us one of your best stories or funniest or most interesting things, because I know ball players are just very comical in nature. What do you recall? Anything stands out? You weren't there for Gilbert Arenas, right? With the
No, I was there right after
gun?
that. Right after that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I was there. I was there once when I probably can't say a lot of this stuff, but
You don't have to use names. You don't have to.
I mean, honestly, the getting the players their food was hysterical. Just what they were eating, like the John Wall story. That was almost the most shocking story of, like he would like children. These stars would be like little children. Everyone panders after them, and he's like, "Hey, give me my hot chocolate. I can't perform before my hot chocolate." And that was just like, and then Trevor Reason needed French toast sticks, and I'm like 23 years old, like getting orders of French toast sticks at 3 o'clock on a Sunday, and they're like, "We don't make French toast sticks. It's lunch." And I'm like, "It's for one of the Wizards. Like, please." That was one thing. What was some weird story? I mean, everything I can't really say. I mean, one of the coolest stories that I don't know if you guys ball, but I think I'm nice. I can pull it from 40 before that was a thing. I'm also like in the paint, point guard, lead guard. I make the no look pass. So we'd play like the scouts and the office staff. We'd play like 3-on-3 full court in the practice gym on like the full court gym. So like one day I was just warming up like on a lunch break, and we're just like shooting threes, and just in my suit. I would wear a suit and tie every day to work because I just like dress for the job you want, not the job you have. Everyone else has polos on. And like Ernie comes in and goes, "Oh, you should come off of practice next week." And I just I just didn't do it. I should have done it, but I think he was joking. But it was like I was wetting threes.
Wow.
But I think the best story I had, that like my claim to fame is, that team was like, they were like a little below 500 most of the season, but they were like, that was one of the better teams. And they had Eric Weiner at point guard. They had John Wall, and I think they had like some others. They had like no other ball handler. And
was Beal there?
Beal was like a 1. Beal was like a 2 though. He was still young. He was like a 2 guard. He was not as his handles are much better now. And he probably could have played more lead guard then, but we needed like something to calm the show. And I was in one of the I think now he's a higher executive, Brett Greenberg. He was kind of Coach K's manager at Duke and was one of the head kind of basketball kind of geniuses for the Wizards and statistics and one of the new departments in like analytics. And I was sitting in his office, and he was talking about the team, and like I always like wanted to be a GM. That was my dream job, and I was like, who like we need? And he was like, who? I'm like, Andre Miller. Remember Andre Miller?
Yeah, complete guard. He was a complete guard. He was an all-around guard.
Yeah. He did the Kings, and he just was like doing nothing over there. And I remember I was like, we just needed someone to like. I thought Eric Maynard could do it for us, and he just was not mature. And John Wall like just didn't have like that maturity then either. I was like, we need like just a lead guard just to settle the show, for beginning of fourth quarter, second half. And then like 3 days later, we traded for Andre Miller, and I was like, I'm gonna be a GM one day. That was like,
dude, that's special, man. Your input was considered. That's really special.
Misha, to answer your question, I'm a baller. Lou never reached his full potential, but he tried. He tried.
I'll follow you guys.
I'm 6'1". Chris is 5'2". He's like a walking bowling ball.
Right,
but
I'm 6'2", so we'll make it happen.
I'm close to 6 feet. I don't reach 6 feet yet, but I'm close to. I'm still growing.
Misha, I seen your profile. You play down by Dumbo under the bridge.
Yeah, Brooklyn Bridge Park. Yeah, I'm like I live right here, so it's like probably the closest park to me.
Yeah. When I play, I always play at the far end court. The losers, 45 and over. That's where I play. I used to play under the canopy, but the full court was killing me. I said, "No, I got to go down."
I'm white. I need that color. This is from playing. It was nice last week. See?
That was my excuse too.
Come on now.
Oh man.
But, did you play any college ball?
No, I was gonna go to Stetson in Florida. D1 walked on.
Okay.
They're a pretty crappy D1 team, and I went there early to walk on, and the manager was like, every walk on becomes a red shirt, and this coach doesn't play red shirts, so don't walk on. And like my biggest regret is not just like sucking up and playing and maybe transferring, but I had a sports radio show in college. I had gained 120 pounds in college. It was fun, right?
It sounded like you enjoyed yourself. Listen,
had powdered donuts in college too.
Listen,
the Dollar General, like $1 still ones, still had powder on them though, all over the face like that.
Misha, your ex-girl, she ever checks up on you to see how you're doing?
Nah, we.
She don't want to see him now.
He's too skinny, right?
He's under 200.
No. I went to her. I didn't see her for like 2 months, and then her mom. Well, I go to her Long Island for 4th of July or something. I go to her house. I feel like 270. Like I'm big, and her mom's like, "Oh, you look lost some weight." And then like that's the first thing she says when she opens the door. My girlfriend goes, "We should break up soon." Like I'll eat extra tonight. I'll eat extra. Yeah, it was fun.
Oh my God.
Talk about the pressure.
Thank God. Not for nothing. You could get lost on that. Thank God he realized it and said, "You know what? I'm gonna die if I keep going out with this girl. I gotta lose." He said he has to lose 120 pounds. Yeah, she was the 120 pounds he had to lose.
No, I lost 240, right? I told her when I lost 240. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
At 240, right?
Hey, Chef Misha, where could folks find you if they want to reach out? I know you have your website, the Healthy Warrior Project. Are there any other areas where they could reach out and maybe ask you questions, see what's going on? I know you do a lot of hosting parties, or how do folks get in contact with you?
Easiest way is my website's thehealthwarriorproject.com, but the Instagram is very easy. You can look up Chef Misha, Chef Space Misha, or the Health Warrior Project, one word, kind of like the Wounded Warrior Project. So just DM me. I'll get back to you pretty quickly within a day. But yeah, to cater parties, for recipes, for health advice, for health coaching, kind of whatever you need to kind of get your health journey started originally or independently of what's going on in everyone else's life in your community. I'm here to help and show you the path.
I'm gonna take you up on that dinner party though, because I know this is sexy, but I need to drop down at least 80 pounds. At least.
Hey, we'll put you on a plan. If you're serious about it, we could put you on a serious plan by September. You could be, I got some trainers here in New York. I got some Chinese medicine docs. We can put you on a real program. Maybe document it for the show. Get some, national press for it.
Yo, Misha, that would be awesome, dude.
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea.
Little Chris,
Listen, Misha, that is not a bad idea. I'm going to reach out to you. And guess what? I have a sauna. So
Seriously, hey, I'll put you on a plan if you're serious. You could put some listeners on the plan, challenge your fans, get a collective kind of thing going where you guys can be leaders in the community. I have a lot of people you could talk to, in the Black and Hispanic community who are leaders that I work with. Also, that could be we can bring into this as well. So it's not just some white man teaching you guys how to eat some vegetables. And that's a problem.
Exactly.
No, absolutely. You know what, Misha? I'm definitely gonna tie that all together. I'll reach out to our listeners and tell them that, hey, who wants to do the challenge? And I'll definitely stay in touch with you. And I'm definitely gonna see you by the courts.
You know what? We'll do? So my girlfriend's Puerto Rican and Nigerian, and her dad's Puerto Rican, but he's a trainer, but he's got this like awful diet, but he's an amazing trainer. So maybe I'll have him put you guys on a training program, and I'll put him on a nutrition program with you guys, and we can, the whole Monty will document it because he's trying to blow up his TikTok. He makes healthy dog food, so.
Hey man, that sounds like a plan, man. That sounds.
You guys got dogs?
Yes, I do. I have.
I had a dog and passed away, so it's very it's very and I love dogs. It's just. It's a member of the family when things, so I try to protect my heart.
I only bring it up because he makes healthy dog food, like real cow liver and veal liver and
nice.
Dog food brands. Maybe we can create a StreamYard dog yard brand or something.
100%. Listen,
people can get behind getting their dog healthy before they can get behind getting themselves healthy.
That's crazy, but that's the truth, though.
The truth, man.
But listen, Chef Misha, I can't thank you enough for jumping on with us today. It was a true delight, very informative, and I hope our listeners appreciate it. I would definitely stay in touch with you, and I'm going to make sure me and Chris join that challenge because me and Chris have this ongoing battle. We compete in different sports and everything. And I want to see who could lose 75 pounds quickest.
We could do 75. 80. I want to go 80. I said 80. Let's go 80. Let's do 80.
We'll do 80 pounds, and then we'll update the folks, and we'll.
And you won the last bet a lot of years ago. You won it, and I paid you in singles. Remember that?
56 pounds.
Yeah, 56 pounds. Yeah, you're right.
One idea for you guys jump. You guys have iPhones, or are you guys on the Samsung plan?
No, iPhone. I got an iPhone.
You guys on the new app Clubhouse by chance?
Not yet, but we are going to jump on it.
So definitely download it.
Yeah, you have to get invited. So I'll get you guys an invite. Either my girl has this little gnome with back doors, or I'll send you an invite. But that's a way to definitely boost your following, but also you can sort of group on there also to you could actually have that be subsequent to this to create a community. People can follow this plan because having two people like you in New York and New Jersey leading this cause, you have a platform. People really want to be abreast and aware to a lot of these issues. So I think it's awesome, guys.
Exactly.
It sounds awesome. Again, thank you, Chef Misha. Appreciate it. I'll make sure to share your Instagram and your webpage with the folks, and we'll keep everybody abreast of how this weight loss journey turns out for me and Chris.
Maybe we'll do a part 2, and we'll outline the whole thing on a part 2, and we'll begin it there.
Well,
awesome.
Part two. I'm very interested about the cult thing. I hear a lot of good things about cults.
Diet's part 3. Right, exactly.
We got to put that on Patreon. It might be a little extra. But thank you for joining us. It was a true pleasure.
Chef, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks, Lou. Take care, guys.
Be good, man.
God bless.
Chris, we'll talk, brother.
All right, sounds good.